Alright, so I want to start diving down into what happened in the engine, and I'm going to start with the top end, see if that's seized up at all, pull out the spark plug, we'll pull off the carb, and we'll take a look up the exhaust and see if we see anything. Definitely some deposits on the spark plug. I think that might be from the leaded gas combo there. Alright, let's take a look at the exhaust, see if we can see if the piston has any scoring. From what I can see, at least this side of the piston looks okay. Let me see if I can turn it over a bit. And it's locked up. Yeah, I can't really see much in there. But judging by the fact that there's not a ton of scoring on it, might be the bottom end instead of the top end. I'm going to drain the oil and see what comes out of it, see if we got any metal shavings. Nothing on the magnetic drain plug. I didn't see anything worrying coming out of there, and the oil actually looks pretty good. It's not burned up, or don't see any flake in it at all, so that's curious. Well, while that drains out a little bit more, let's pull off the carb. The last thing I did to this engine was change the reeds out. Maybe something fell down on the intake side, so let's take this off. Well, that's good to see. At least the reeds look fine. Now, looking down in the intake, also don't see any signs of wear on the piston itself. All signs are kind of pointing to a bottom end issue. I'm going to open up the clutch cover and see if there's anything wrong with the clutch that's keeping it from spinning before we dive even farther. I might have to take the water pump off first. I didn't want to open this because sealing it's kind of a pain in the butt, but seems to be hung up on it. Okay, now this should come off. Well, while I was hopeful that there was something visibly damaged with the clutch, it looks like everything in here is looking pretty decent so far. No shavings in the oil that I can see. Yeah, it still really doesn't want to turn over. It's pretty stuck. So I think we're gonna have to go deeper. Well, I was trying to be hopeful that I wouldn't have to pull off the top end, but I think it's about time we start breaking her down. Well, the head looks like it's in perfect condition. Nothing hit it. There's no marks. And the water jacket's nice and clear. Awesome. Let's get you a look down inside. Alright, from what I can see, there's no scratches on the cylinder wall at all. I know it's probably not really focused, huh? Yeah, I can't see any real scratching on the cylinder wall, which is awesome. See if I can rotate it a bit. Top of the piston looks a little corroded. You see some of that green that we saw on the spark plug there. We are due for a piston change in here, so I'll get that out. Looking pretty decent in there. For the amount of hours on this cylinder, I am super happy with this. And I'm glad that this isn't what let go. These are getting kind of expensive. Yep, piston's looking great too. Are gonna change it out even though we just re-ringed it. It is about time for it to come out. Let's check for some crank play here. If I can spin it around enough. Yeah, it's just locked up. Okay, we're not gonna force it too much. I'm just gonna pull this piston off right now. Engage safety squints. Yeah, that legitimately flew across the garage. Hopefully we can push this out with an 8. The wrist pin here. There's a little bit of movement in the crank, but it's like, I don't even know if it's movement or if I'm rotating it slightly. I'll have to free up the engine before I dig into it more. Let's see if I can focus on this. You see those little flakes? This is the very last little bit of oil that came out of the engine. Little bit of flake, a little bit of chunk. That's really hard to see. All right, I popped some things back in the engine. I was being exceedingly hopeful that I could either replace the top end or something was wrong with the clutch. Now at this point it looks like I'm going to be splitting the cases, so I'm going to clean everything before I open it up anymore, and just to make sure I'm not getting junk everywhere. All right, I feel somewhat better about the cleanliness of the engine. While I've got it flipped around, I'm just going to pull the stator cover off right now. You know, while I'm over here, I might as well pull the stator off anyway. Oh. Woo! Ah. Now we can get this whole mess out of here. Alright, before we flip the engine back around, I'm just going to take off the sprocket here. Alright, now we can take these covers back off again. Let's lay this engine down a little bit. That should make it a little easier to get some of the stuff off. Yeah. So what I should be using here is this flywheel holder, but it didn't arrive until I already tore the engine apart. So what you would want to do is take these pegs, align them with these holes. There we go. And it's locked in, and now you can wrench on the clutch bolt while you're holding the flywheel. Alright, now it's time for the case bolts. Ooh, yeah. That's a torched bearing, all right. I can see some metal just like gouged in there. Now let's compare the good side to the bad side. So we had to go through all of this to find out what was wrong with the KX65. And it happened to be this bearing on the crank. But we'll get all this slapped back together and have it running in no time. So thanks for hanging out with me on the garage, and I'll see you on the next one.